Hello and welcome to Blue Army TV. I'm sitting here at Carlisle. I've actually won a game at home as we've beaten Newport County 3-2 after being 2 goals down. And wow, look, what I'll say about that today, it might not mean much in the grand scheme of things, and it might have been, it wasn't exactly a fantastic performance for either team, but what I can say coming out of today is what a game of football. 2 goals down and you make a comeback. I don't think we've won from behind this season, so to win a game from being 2 goals down, it's absolutely unheard of. And look, I was very tempted to leave the ground after that second goal went in, and a lot of people did. They did leave the ground, and they will now regret doing so. But it does kind of make me mad that where's that heart, where's that desire, where's that passion? Where's that been for the over 40 games of this season? It now does mean we're only 8 points from safety, previously being 9. So we've gained a point, and it also means that we've Accrington being absolutely battered today. Tranmere won 4-0, and Accrington got beat 4-0. They're now the team that it's hypothetically within our reach, mathematically, to catch. Them and Morecambe are the 2 teams above us, and we play both of those teams in the remaining 5 games of the season. So if we beat both of them and results go our way, then it's only 2 points. And look, I know it's some mental gymnastics, and I know it won't happen. Granted, Accrington and Morecambe have already beaten us this season. I don't think it's going to happen. But look, we give ourselves a little bit more of a chance. We prolong the inevitable in a way. Hopefully, maybe we can bring it down the last game of the season, and then anything's possible. But look, we need to remember that going down into the non-league would be a huge, hugely awful thing to happen to this football club. And look, Reading have been given an extension on their kind of financial crisis issues and their ownership issues. So to me, that says that I don't think they'd have given them an extension if there wasn't any signs of something happening. I can't see Reading getting expelled from this league, so it looks like we're going to have to catch Accrington and stay up the proper way, which isn't really going to happen. But as long as there is a sliver of hope, and that's what today's given us, and a small, tiny amount of hope, we've got to hold on to that for as long as possible. And that's what today's done. It's prolonged the inevitable. Georgie Kelly starting and getting 2 goals. I joked when he scored the first that he's now averaging a goal every year. So I suppose now that he's scored 2, he's now averaging a goal every 6 months. I suppose more than that because we're in April now. My God, where's this year gone? So he's averaging a goal every 8 months at the minute. But look, it's scary that he's only 4 goals away from being our top goal scorer this season. But look, Georgie Kelly got 2 goals, took them both well, had a very good game today. Maybe could have had another, but look, I've slated him, and if he's going to come into the team and he's going to perform, fantastic. I'd love to be proved wrong in terms of the Georgie Kelly verdict I made quite a while ago. I hope he proves me wrong, and I hope he stays fit for the rest of this season and stays fit next season and becomes our top goal scorer in the National League. He did himself a world of favour today, because he's kind of proved that when he's on the pitch, he can make a difference. Now, the only thing is now actually being on the pitch to make that difference. And I hope he can keep himself fit. And I know it's not largely down to him or his brain. It's his body that's the problem. And there's not really much he can do to change that. So he's still been a very poor signing for us, I think. But look, he did himself a good amount of good today. And Aaron Hayden, I thought he had a horrendously bad game up until he scored, and now he's the hero. But look, it was... I don't think we played well in the first half. I think even when we got our goal back in the first half, I don't think we were particularly good. Second half, I think we looked a lot better than Newport. And look, Newport aren't a very good team. And if I was a Newport fan today, oh my God, 2-0 up against bottom of the league, and you bottle it in that way, that's embarrassing for you lot. And look, that second goal they scored, I think they scored it from an XG of 0.01. It was a very fluky goal they got. We haven't scored 3 this season until today. To do it like that, and Newport, that was bad from you lot. That was a very poor performance from Newport. And yes, we are probably still going to go down, but let's go down with a bit of a fight here. Because I couldn't stand us going down the way we did last year. 15 points cut adrift, relegated with about 3 or 4 games left of the season. I don't want that. That's what I want to avoid. That's in my head. First priority: prolong relegation, and if you prolong it long enough, maybe, just maybe, you can survive it. But yeah. Individual performances, I think Vela okay. Whelan, I think he was very good today. I think he's a very good player. Archie Davis being him is going to be a massive miss. Going down with a hamstring injury, it was very obvious what he had. It looked, he clearly felt it, kept on sprinting and then just collapsed. It was very obvious what he got because he immediately while he was running grabbed his hamstring. So you could see what was wrong with him. And look, that's probably him out for the rest of the season, which now means we're probably going to start with, and I don't know how bad Sam Lavell's injury is, it's probably going to be MacArthur and Ellis on the flanks, with Hayden and Thomas at the centre-backs, which is not what I would imagine if everyone was fit, our starting backline would look like. And obviously, we've got Harper to come back into that. He was only out with a concussion, I think. So, as dangerous as those injuries can be, if you're fine, which it turns out, I think he is, he has to miss a game for, what I'm saying is, head injuries are very dangerous, but in the footballing world, you'd rather a player got a little bit of a knock to the head than, a hamstring or a knee injury, because they're going to be back before you know it. So theoretically, what our backline's probably going to look like is Harper and Ellis as the fullbacks, with Hayden and Thomas in the centre-back positions, unless we get Sam Lavelle back, 'cause I'm not sure what that injury is looking like at the minute. Breeze had a funny game today because I think the first one goes right through his legs, and obviously you'd never want to see that from a keeper, but it does happen. The second one, I can't help but feel like he thought it was going over, and he just left it. Like, it obviously went top bins. It was weird because it looked like he realised far too late that it wasn't going over and that maybe a more experienced keeper could have saved it. But after that, he made some fantastic saves, especially in the second half. He was fantastic. And especially in that last 5 minutes, I noticed him a lot in that last 5 minutes, coming and claiming crosses, low crosses drilled into the box. He came out and collected well as well. Gathering balls, not pushing things out into the middle. He's a very good goalkeeper, Gabriel Breeze, and he showed that last week. And although he had a sticky start at the start of the first half, he showed his quality again in the second half, I think. But yeah, a win's a win. Just enjoy it, because League 2 might be, or probably will be, nothing but a memory before long. So enjoy these wins in League 2, because they're very few and far between, and it looks like it's going to be a while before we get the chance to have another one come the end of this season. So my message to the fans would be, you were fantastic today. I know the attendance dropped, but you'd expect it to. We've put up with a lot, so when these wins come, even if they don't mean anything, enjoy the wins, enjoy the performances, enjoy celebrating the goals, because that's what football's all about. And enjoy being in this league, enjoy being a professional club while we can, because it looks like that status might be coming to an end very soon. But yeah, hopefully George Kelly can stay fit for the rest of the season. I'll be honest, I'm quite doubtful as to whether that's going to happen, but if he can score goals like that, keep him in the team until he's injured. And then we've got Matthew Dennis, who's a very good deputy, because I do quite like Matthew Dennis, and I think it might be a bit harsh dropping him, although he was injured, so it was, it's a difficult one up front. But yeah, nice problems to have, I suppose, if you've got two strikers that are scoring goals that you can't decide who to start. We haven't had that problem for a long time. But yeah, just enjoy it. I'll leave it at that. Thank you for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and in a bit.